What is up, YouTube? It's Lions Fan Express coming at you with that man-to-man press. And in today's video, I'm going to give you guys my top 5 cornerback prospects for the 2023 NFL Draft. I've been grinding out this film, watching these guys, and just kind of see who's at the top and who I think are the best prospects, out of all these guys. Because it's a deep class. They have a lot of great players you can take in, any round in this draft, in my opinion. So, with that being said, here are my top 5 prospects. At number 5, I have EMMANUEL Forbes from Mississippi State. He's 6 foot, 180 pounds. I watched his games against Arizona, Kentucky, and Alabama, and my player comp for him is Xavier Howard. So right off the bat for Forbes, he's a ball hawk. He's got those ball tracking skills. He's got smooth hips, able to open up and break on the ball when it's thrown. He's a willing tackler. He's not afraid to stick his nose in and make tackles. He utilizes the bail technique to jump breaking routes. He's also got great awareness and eyes to locate the ball to either deflect or pick it. He had 6 interceptions in 2022, and in his whole career, he had 14 interceptions, which is like a lot. That's a lot of picks. But he also did give up 3 touchdowns as well this season. So, he's kind of a boomer bust kind of player. When it comes to that, he either will generate a lot of turnovers or he might give up a big play. He's primarily a zone corner, but he's got good man skills as well. He isn't a lockdown guy, and he is kind of on the lighter side for an outside cornerback, but I think he's definitely got the skill set and production to make an impact at the NFL level, and he's definitely going to be a solid second-round pick. All right, and then at number 4, I have Cam Smith from South Carolina. He's 6 foot, 188 pounds. I watched his games against Tennessee, Clemson, and Vanderbilt, and my player comp for him is actually Adoree Jackson. So with Cam Smith, there's not a lot to say other than, he's a willing player to do whatever he needs to do to help his team. So, I've seen his games where he'll actually shadow a receiver all game. A lot of these cornerbacks, they'll just stick on one side of the field, let alone not shadow a whole player for the whole game. He's willing to do that, and there's reps where he would win, and there's reps that he'd give up. But ultimately, just the willingness to do that it shows that he's a gritty player, and he's not afraid to play bigger than what he actually is. So again, he's got a lot of potential. He's not a lockdown corner, and is he going to be big enough to play outside in the NFL? But he's definitely got potential to be a number 1 cornerback, and I definitely think he could be a really good cornerback too, if not a really good slot cornerback at the NFL level. All right, and then at number 3, I'm going to get a little heat for this, I think, but I have DEVON Witherspoon from Illinois. He's 6 foot, 180 pounds. I watched his games against Michigan, Wyoming, and Minnesota. So, with Witherspoon, I actually really like him. And again, this is just to kind of say the fact that I have a third, it shows the talent level at this class. Because I think in most drafts he probably would be a number 1, cornerback. And to me, one thing that stands out, he's a big hitter. He will go and lay the wood and try to take your head off. And he plays aggressive. He's aggressive, physical, plays with raw emotion. You can see it on the field. He literally plays like a safety. He plays cornerback, but his play style is literally like a safety. And he's just a fun player to watch. Watching his highlights, he can track the ball and get picks, but he'd almost rather go and try to take your head off. And he can make an immediate impact in the right scheme, I think, in the NFL. He does, again, he's a little bit on the shorter side, and just being able to, is he going to be able to hold up against bigger NFL receivers? Again, there's not a whole bunch of DK Metcalfs running around in the league, but there are some, bigger receivers out there, taller ones that are good at, being physical. And he didn't really play a lot of press man. Now, when he did, you look at his stats and stuff, he literally gave up 0 touchdowns. He was pretty much almost locked down when it came to off-ball man coverage. So definitely a man coverage corner, and not afraid to stick his nose in and get dirty. You know, he's got great footwork, form tackler, tough instincts, good technique, and he can flip his hips and run with receivers. So to me, he's a first-round talent, probably, in my opinion, somewhere in the mid first round, maybe a little bit earlier than that, but I wouldn't say a top 10 player. And then number 2, again, might be a little controversial, but I actually have Christian Gonzalez from Oregon. Now, he's 6'2", 201 pounds. I watched his games against Georgia, Washington, BYU, and Utah. So right off the bat, you know, those are pretty good competitions for him. And then my player comp for him is actually Patrick Surtain. You know, so he's a good open field tackler. Like when you look at his stats, and I looked at this on Pro Football Focus, when he rarely misses tackles. His missed tackle rate is so low. Like he's a good form tackler. Again, he's not like as aggressive as some of these other quarterbacks. Like he won't like just be super willing to stick his nose in and, you know, dive and try to make tackles all the time. Like that's not really his style, but he is a good tackler when he does you know, make tackles or decide to make that business decision. So you know, he's sticky. He's got potential because he's got size, he's got length, he's got speed, and he's got ball skills. You know, he had a good amount of interceptions this year at Oregon after transferring from Colorado. You know, he does struggle a little bit in some zone concepts. I think he gives up a little bit more yards. And he does kind of disappear in games sometimes. You know, I don't know if that's just because he's not getting targeted or if he's just holding his own. Again, if you're not showing up in the tape when it comes to the DB, that's the one time when you can say, like, okay, I'm actually doing my job, because you're not getting burnt. Though he does, you know, he has a couple reps where he does give up some plays. You know, I can refer that to, you know, in Georgia, if he can just turn his head around and, you know, locate the ball a little bit quicker, a little bit faster, he's right there to make a play. So still, I think he's one of the best cornerbacks in this draft. Definitely a first round pick. And, you know, honestly, I could see him definitely getting drafted in the top 15, if not the top 10, just based off of all these physical traits. And then at number 1, before I give you guys that, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and let me know down below who you think the number 1 quarterback in this class is. For me, it's Joey Porter Jr. from Penn State. You know, I watched his games against Ohio State, Purdue, Michigan, and Auburn, and my player comp for him is Aqib Talib. So right off the bat, I'm just going to be honest with you guys. I know this isn't a popular pick. I know when you look at most boards, Joey Porter Jr. is cornerback 2, if not cornerback 3. A lot of people have, you know, Christian Gonzalez and Devon Witherspoon ahead of him, and I get it. Like, it really depends on your flavor of cornerback in the class. Like, are you looking for a really good man coverage corner? Are you looking for, you know, corner that's really athletic? Or are you looking for a corner that has like physical tools? Like, because if you really, with this class, with how talented and deep it is, you can really pick your flavor of cornerback and what's right for your scheme. So with that being said, you know, I watched Joey Porter Jr. and here's the thing: he's not the most athletic. He doesn't have the best production, and, you know, honestly, I can't even say he's a lockdown corner, because there's times on his film where he does get beat. With that being said, though, you know, he's a freak. He's, you know, 6'2". He's got 34-inch arms, which is a crazy wingspan when you think about it, and he uses it to deflect passes and compensate a little bit for not being as athletic and as agile as some of the other cornerbacks. You know, I think he's the best physically gifted corner or DB in this class, and that makes him a top man coverage cornerback prospect this year. He could be a little handsy at times. You know, I've seen him sometimes he grabs a little bit on the jersey, but his presence is felt when he's on the field, because when he's guarding opposing receivers, you know, when they don't test him a lot, but when they do test him, he's there and he doesn't get beat very often. So I like his film. I like what he brings to an NFL team. And if you're just purely going off of just a really good man coverage corner that has the height and the length and pretty good speed as well, to me, you know, Joey Porter Jr., he checks all those boxes. He doesn't have a lot of concerns, whereas, you know, someone like, you know, Devon Witherspoon, you know, he's a little bit on the shorter side. With Christian Gonzalez is, you know, he doesn't necessarily, he's not always as aggressive and, you know, willing to make tackles. Whereas Porter Jr., I mean, he does it all. Again, is he a perfect prospect? No, by any means. But to me, he's the best cornerback in this draft class. And yeah, that's kind of just my take on it. But let me know what you guys think about these top 5 prospects. If you notice, there is a couple players missing on this list. I know there's you know, guys like Keely Ringo have been mocked to the top 5 cornerback prospects and a lot of other people's boards. For me, again, he's got all the physical traits, all the tools, but when you watch his film, he just doesn't put it all together. So that's why I didn't put him in my top 5. But yeah, you know, I think this was a really good class, a lot of depth, great players, and honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw like all 5 of these guys get drafted in the first round. So, and again, that just speaks volumes of this class. But let me know what you guys think. The last position group is going to be safeties, and I'm going to be dropping that as soon as I can. I just got to complete the film on that. But yeah, you know, those are my top 5 quarterback prospects, and we'll just keep it going. And I hope you guys have, you know, having a good weekend. Enjoy watching the combine. Again, take it with a grain of salt. You know, there's going to be some guys that do some really great things on the field and jumping and running really fast, and that's cool and all. But watch the tape. Make sure you're doing your due diligence. If you're curious about a player, you know, don't just watch a highlight. If you have enough time, look at, you know, go look at a game clip and really break it down to see, okay, what does this guy do? Is he doing this stuff that he's doing in the highlights, or is it just, you know, flash plays that people have put together? So with that being said, I hope you guys have a great day, and as always, go Lions.